Okay, so now we're going to do an example of codominance. Codominance is where both alleles are expressed equally. So it's not like incomplete dominance where you get a mixing. You get both alleles that show up in the offspring. So the example that the book gives you is that a chicken has white feathers and another chicken has black feathers. And then when those two chickens have offspring, you can have a chicken with both white and black feathers. So both white is expressed and both black feathers are expressed in the offspring. So we're going to do a little different example. We're going to cross cows. And so you have possibilities of cows. If you're from Kansas, you know all this crazy stuff. But here in Georgia, some of you might not have experience with cows and cattle breeding. And so the first possibility you have is to have a red cow. So that's a cow that has that burnt red rust color on their hide. So all the little short bristly hairs are that rust color. And then you have white cows in which their hairs, those short little bristly hairs, are white. And then when we have codominance, if we have the heterozygous genotype that has both red hairs and white hairs, we get what's called a roan-colored cow, which is a cow that has both the red short bristly hairs and the white bristly hairs. Okay, and so in our example that we're going to do in class, the cross is to cross a roan cow with a roan cow. Now remember that this is not like incomplete dominance in which we get a mixture. In this example, both phenotypes are expressed in the offspring. Okay, and so we have a roan. Remember the first step, female cow. The first step is to write the genotypes. And so remember, female always goes first. The second step is to complete the Punnett square. So mom is on the side, and the male cow is on the top. And then we fill out the Punnett square. Oops. Remember, it doesn't matter which order that you write the letters, but if you want to write the R's first, you can. Okay, so now we have all the possible combinations of alleles from our two parents. And then our next step, step 3, is to write the possible genotypes. So I'm going to start with this square. And so I have big R, and I look at the other possibilities, and it's my only genotype that has big R. Okay? So then I look, here I have WR, which is the same as RW. So I'm going to go ahead and write the R first just to help me organize. And so I look and see if any other squares have the genotype RW or WR. And this one does. So then I have 2 that have the genotype, the heterozygous genotype of big R, big W. And then I go to my last square, and I know that I'm going to have one that's W, big W. Okay? So the next step, step 4, is to write the possible genotypes. And these numbers, when we go and do dihybrid crosses, are going to be very important. So make sure that you keep your numbers and your probabilities as you're going through these problems. Okay? So the first possible offspring, 1 out of 4, has a genotype big R, and will produce a red-coated calf. Then I know 2 out of the 4 possible offspring, or 50% chance of having a calf with the roan coat. Remember, that's having both white and red bristles. And then I have 1 out of 4 chance of getting a white coat. Okay? So that would be the end of that problem. Remember that in our incomplete dominance, that this was a mixture of traits. And here, that's not the case. Both are exhibited equally.